friends all know that I'm cool. I've been this way since high school. Cause life's never been sweeter when you're just a cake eater. When it comes to hockey, nobody can stop me. My high school team, I was playing on the top three.
Welcome to the Youth Hockey of High School Hockey Podcast. I am Danny Ryan. Joining with me in studio is Tony Scott after the Squirt Spectacular.
Thank you, Danny. It is over, and we have a new champion this year, Hermantown Hawks.
Ooh.
We'll talk about that later.
I guess so. And Carl, you're on the phone with us today, aren't you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Speaking of Hermantown, you're 10 minutes from Hermantown right now.
Yeah, go take a stroll over to
Unfortunately,
Hermantown.
no. I tried to avoid it, but, it's there.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
We're just taking hard digs.
Big digs. We dug in last week early, too, so maybe we'll dig in a little bit more this week. Right off the bat, speaking of digs, we're going to dig into Carl's top 10 and maybe some others as well.
Yeah, why don't you lay down what your top 10 is, Carl. Let's see how you fared this weekend. See if you slept well.
Sure. Number one this week is a new team at number one, Eden Prairie.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
When I was driving here talking to Danny about the show, I said, "Did Carl make them number one?" And he says, "Yes." It was going to be either them or Hill Murray because they both had good weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they beat Edina this week. They beat Stillwater, though, albeit outside. They still beat the number one team in the state.
And Eden Prairie beat Hill Murray in the Schwann Cup, albeit in a shootout. I'd say that probably tipped the scales.
Yeah. What was your takeaway on them, Carl?
Yeah, well, I've actually seen Eden Prairie 4 times in the last 2 weeks now, so that's a lot of Eden Prairie. And I think the thing that they have changed from earlier in the year when they were losing games is that they're deeper now. They've taken some growing pains because they put a couple of sophomores on the top line with Casey Middlestaff, and it hasn't always been totally smooth, but they now have probably the 3 best lines in the state. They're deeper. They can roll over teams now. They can hang in there. Even if teams are out shooting them, they'll be springing some great chances in transition. They just look like a championship team right now.
I agree with that. Tim Piowski has been amazing. And did I not call this a month ago? I said they got to get this kid in the lineup. He's got so much ability. I saw him as a Bantam last year, and you're watching. Everyone comes and you see Jack Jensen, and Jack is a gopher commit. So we're not talking about. We're like, well, who's this 15 kid? He's amazing. And then now we get all these calls from these scouts. Well, who's 15? Who's 15? I'm like, he basically just came out of nowhere as a second-year Bantam.
And he played JV this year.
Yeah, lots of JV.
Yeah, and he probably still is playing some JV.
Yeah, he's very good, and he is a rising star, in my opinion.
But I will say their defense is probably the weakest part of this team, I would say.
If there is one.
There is one, but they're still the number one team in the state.
Yep.
Who's number 2, Carl?
Number 2 is Hill Murray, this team that somehow keeps plugging along and still only has 1 loss.
Yeah, but and a tie with Tartan, I must remind you.
I think when I look at Hill Murray, and I saw them play this weekend, it comes down to one thing: it's coaching. That's
goaltending.
And goaltending, but coaching plays a big factor. Like Lechner's talking to these kids the whole game, and he's
always been that way.
He's always been that way, and I think it really stood out to me. It's just like, wow, he's taking something from kind of nothing here and making it a pretty good team.
Yeah, what's that line? Making chicken salad out of something? Yeah, that's what he's doing right now.
What Lyndon Johnson told George W. Bush.
What did he tell him?
George H.W. Well, the difference between the Senate and the Congress is the difference between chicken salad and chicken.
Yeah, the other chicken. Yeah. All right, who's number 3?
Anyway, number 3 is Stillwater.
History lessons by Danny, I guess.
Who's number 3, Carl?
They lost for the second time this week. Eden Prairie. It was outside. They haven't played a tough schedule, but I didn't want to drop them too much. Just given the conditions of that game, I don't want to put too much stock in that.
Yeah, those games are more of an exhibition.
Yeah.
And they're great. I mean, they're great for uniforms. They're great for crowds.
We'll talk about all this.
Yeah, they're great for crowds, but I don't get the feeling that those games should count too much towards a ranking or not. Like, if it was can you imagine if there's like section seating going on as a result of it?
Oh, God.
Awful.
But
for the team that lost.
I still take away that on open ice, on clear ice, good. I still think Stillwater's going to lose that game.
Yeah, they could be.
That's my takeaway.
My takeaway, I watched the game. I thought the ice looked like it was fine. I know you were there, Danny. The ice looked fine. The speed of the game, fine. But there's two takes. It is a big stage. The state high school hockey tournament is a bigger stage, but that's great practice for a big stage for those kids. And all those kids are used to a big stage. The downside is it's outside, and you're wearing eye black, and there's, you know.
Okay,
thank God
don't cannibalize hockey.
I know. Thank God there wasn't a helicopter this year, but let's put it that way. All right, number 4.
Number 4 is Elk River.
That's maybe the worst number 4 team in the state.
Yes, I don't buy them as a number 4 team right now. Jax Murray's got to be productive.
He's got to be
healthy of that team for them to be a top 5 team.
He played this weekend, though.
Yes.
Yeah, he did try to get that over.
Okay, if I were to change one thing in your rankings, I'd have Duluth East number 4 because I think they're the number 1 team in Section 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get to number 5, Carl.
Hang on, wait, Carl. One thing. Again, this is the ploy by Carl, to get me to admit that Duluth East is better than Elk River. It's a ploy. It's a total conspiracy ploy. I fell right into your trap. Congratulations. Number 5, Carl.
Oh, come on. Yeah. I've been setting it all year. Finally fell into it. 5 is Centennial.
I like that one.
Yeah, five's a good place for them right now, just because I think this week will show a lot for them.
Yes.
Yeah, a couple of big wins the past couple of weeks, so we'll see if that's for real this week for sure. 6 is Edina.
Yeah, the way they played this week, I mean, they didn't put away Hill Murray when they could have.
Mm-hmm.
Weren't they
still a very good team, but they lost twice this past week, so they've got 5 losses now.
Yeah, I say they didn't put away Hill Murray too, Tony. It's not that, they should be beating more talent. They have more skill. They have 4 D1 players.
Yes, and probably 4 more coming.
Yeah. Okay, who's number 7, right, Carl?
Yeah, 7 is Holy Family.
Boy, you are not very high on Holy Family.
Their stock's got to rise for you, Carl.
Yeah, that's a good hockey team.
What have they done? They crushed St. Michael Ellerville.
Am I supposed to be impressed by that?
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Snarkiness coming.
Wow, we're all a little tired, I see. I think we all need a nap. Wow.
Okay.
All right, number 8. We'll just leave it at that.
Sure. 8 is Lakeville North.
I like that. They tied Holy Family, so you're kind of got them in the
They're
same
in this
category.
mid-range category, yeah.
And I missed it, but I think they beat avenged a loss.
Yes, they did.
I get so many scores coming across my Twitter feed. Maybe that was a Bantam score, but I think it was a high school score. All right.
9, St. Thomas Academy.
Yeah, I think this is a fair place to put the cadets right now. They need to figure some things out.
Okay, you had me 1 through 9, Carl, but Grand Rapids, seriously?
At number 10?
Yeah.
Oh, just because there are teams better than Grand Rapids right now.
One being Duluth East.
One of them's Duluth East. There, you were falling into that trap again. The Duluth East trap. There's the Mike Randolph trap.
There's the
Carl trap. We've fallen into it again.
Who's number?
I don't buy that.
Who's number 11 then? Is it Duluth East?
Maple Grove.
Maple Grove.
I like that. I like that.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm all right with that.
And they lost.
Then Duluth East. Do we have some Duluth East?
No, not Duluth East at White Bear Lake.
Oh, really?
Who lost to a single A team this week.
And very badly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are we now at Duluth East?
We are at Duluth East at 13 and a really, really good hockey team after that, which is still head scratcher.
Who's
Duluth
14?
East 13 and Moorhead 14. Those are top 10 teams, Carl.
Come on.
Who's East beaten other than Rapids? I mean, I like the team. I like the way they're playing, but, at some point you need the results. They haven't won their big, close games.
Yeah, but they had a good week. Who did they beat this week, Carl?
Brainerd and Roseau. They beat them up on them. They're a decent team, so they're not great teams.
What was the shot goals like against? It was 11-2, right, or something like that. 13-2.
For
East over their opponents this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. I guess we're the East fans on the show, and Carl
Apparently,
is just Carl's
What
rooting
do we
for.
know?
Yeah.
We know nothing.
He's an elk.
And then his last guy, 15, another team I think that is surging, and it's a team that he normally just loves is Minnetonka.
Oh yeah, that's one of Carl's favorite teams.
Yeah, because they beat East. That's why.
Oh, that's why. Yeah.
Well, always loves the teams that beats them.
Yeah, exactly.
Gives them extra love.
Yeah, Centennial moving up.
All right, next segment on the show. Are we going to our rising, falling players?
No, let's go. Let's recap some games.
Okay, well, games in which go. So later in the show, we're going to talk about. We're going to try to narrow down our list of Mr. Hockey 10 Mr. Hockey finalists out of a nice list of 20 or 22 players.
Yeah, something like that.
You might get Josh S. in on there. You might get him
try.
on the conversation.
I'll try now.
All right, let's go talk about what happened last week.
Carl's got to take some depressing medicine now.
Yes.
we just belittled him.
Just badgered him.
Okay, first game. This was on Tuesday. Holy Family beat St. Michael Elderville at home 5-2. This was Holy Family the whole way. Since puck drop, this is a team they're a crispy critter out there. They're passing well, they're checking well, they're physical, and they have a good backstop in Jared Moe. St. Michael still looks to be a year away on this. They were not really catching passes well. They have a couple decent players, but I don't see them coming out of 8AA right now.
No.
I see this as a Moorhead. Moorhead's got more talent. The only way that Moorhead doesn't come out of 8AA in my mind is if hot goalie and they leak goals. Yep. And that's the only way. That's my takeaway on this. Anybody else?
No, I didn't see that game. It was on the cube, but I did not see that game that night. I'm impressed with Holy Family. I've seen them 3 times this year. I'm impressed. I think they're arguably a top 3 or 4 team.
I think the section final at Mariucci, if it plays out, is going to be amazing.
I wouldn't say there's a guarantee there. I think Tonka can beat one of those 2 teams.
The 2-3 matchup on section Saturday
it's gonna be fun.
At Braemore or Big is going to be going to be packed.
Yep. Yep. Agreed.
That'll be a great one.
Agreed. You're coming down for that? Did you say?
No, I'll be up here for the labor. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I was wow. Neat.
No, I think the 7AAs might be actually better than the 2AA and 6AA. Close. Okay, game on Thursday that I was at, Maple Grove 0 at home versus Elk River. Elk River got 1. I think the storyline in this game, and we've talked about it already before, Jax Murray did not play in this game. When Jack's not there, this team's a lot different. I think, Tony, you say it right. He's the straw that stirs the drink for them.
He is. The other storyline is, how bummed were you that you actually went to this game?
What do you mean by that?
Because it was you said it was kind of a snoozer.
Yeah, the nice part is I work up by Maple Grove, so
that's fine.
And I had to pick up a coat from you at the Squirt.
That's
Spectacular. But so it wasn't the end of the world, but it's just like, wow, I expected more out of Maple Grove. I think this Maple Grove team really rises and falls with the team with the play of Sam Huff. If Sam plays well, then this team's going to play well, and that's kind of how this team has been looking right now.
Yep.
And then Elk River, they don't hit. This is
weird. That's weird for Elk River,
but they're
really
soft.
Physical.
They're soft, and this is the Gordy Roberts game too.
Yeah.
And, Gordy's now an assistant coach at Maple Grove. You would think you'd see something out of.
They got their win. They got out of town. I'm sure Coach Gustafson was.
I guess you're happy, but I just, this is not a number 14 in the state, and they were number 2 at the time. And I was like, like what is going on? And they started their backup goaltender. That didn't make a difference.
Yeah,
it's all generating on offense, and they have great players. Benton Moss, Perbix, 2 of them, and. It's just I don't see it right now. But, if Jack stays healthy, then this team can make a
big
run.
If. It's a big if.
That's a big if right now, and
I hate talking about when we're talking high school kids and talking about health. It seems weird. They aren't college for pros, But I agree.
I hope he stays healthy.
Yeah.
I'm not,
I know. And health is a big concern for him, and we'll just move on.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. What else?
Edina 3 at Eden Prairie 5. This is the start of Eden Prairie's good week, and Carl, you watched this game on YHH. What was your takeaways on this one? This was the game I regrettably did not go to.
It was a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a pretty impressive performance by Eden Prairie. They were in pretty good control most of the game. United got one at the end to make it look a little closer than it was. Eden Prairie, again, as I mentioned earlier when we were doing the rankings, they were rolling 3 lines, looking very solid. They were content to let Edina, take a decent number of shots, but they kept most of it to the outside. So really limited good scoring chances. The penalty kill was very strong. They killed off a lot of penalties. Edina, they looked decent, hung in there, but never really had that flashy moment that made you think they were going to make a run at this game. So it was a solid win for Eden Prairie.
I think Edina is going to look good this year against teams that aren't as good at skating as they are.
Right.
They're probably one of the best skating teams in the state.
Like Grand Rapids.
Like
Elk River. They totally ran those guys out of the rink
not
with their speed.
Elk River kept up with them. Elk
I
River
don't
beat
think
them.
so.
I don't know. But I get what you're saying. But Elk also capitalized on their chances.
Yeah.
But Grand Rapids, to that point, they outskated them. They just danced around them, and they just controlled the game. Those are games that Edina is going to win. So if you're an Edina fan, you're hoping that they draw somebody like that first round of the tournament.
Yeah, what I was saying about Elk River was that for 2 periods, Edina had them on their heels.
Yes. Okay. Fine.
And then they just converted and put them away.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Fine.
Sorry.
I'll concede that.
There were periods in that game where I'm like, Edina is so much faster than Elk right now. They can't keep up.
Well, and that's the thing. Edina is just so smooth at skating. You look at those kids. Bram Shear's a great skater. Sammy Walker's one of the best in the state. Yeah. And you knock on Brinkman for his skating ability, but he's still very, very fluid.
Powerful. He has not produced a lot of points yet. We'll get to that one later.
I'll give you some takeaways on my Brinkman.
Okay, all right. Is your Brinkman now?
Well, okay.
Your Brinkman take.
My Brinkman take. Brinkman's part of the Tony Scott family with Casey
right.
Milstead.
Yeah. I know. I got plenty of them. A lot of the family members.
Okay. Friday night.
I lost a family member today in the Squirtacular. Some parent just let me have it. It was epic. F-bombs, the whole 9 yards. It was great.
Well, we all want to do that to you.
Oh, I know.
Okay, Friday night game. Hermantown 5, White Bear Lake 2. I was at this one. And thanks, shout out to Zach Elverson letting me do some color commentary for 2 periods. So that was pretty fun. But really, White Bear Lake, first period, yeah, they were a good team. The Generich line skated with them. Hermantown did score 6 seconds into the game, which was kind of fun.
It's almost a record.
I know. I was like, oh, man, I got to tweet this out so quickly. And so then, but really the takeaway on this is White Bear struggled keeping the puck deep against an aggressive forecheck that Hermantown has. This is a Hermantown team that rolls 3 lines. Hard. And they go too deep on the forecheck, and the third guy is probably about as high as the dot. So they really challenge you in the offensive zone, and they just don't let you get chances on net against Cade McEwen because you don't have zone time against Cade McEwen.
It's almost like a detriment to Cade because Cade doesn't get a lot of
I would say
shots.
That too. Because, and this is actually what happens in the tournament a lot. I know when they lost to St. Thomas, it would be like, oh, Cade didn't have a chance at that because Cade wasn't, the Hermantown goaltender because, Cade is a
I was about to say Cade played against St. Thomas 8 years ago as a squirt? That would be amazing.
Cade's a textbook Hermantown goaltender, though. So, I don't know. My takeaways is Hermantown is probably one of the better teams in the state.
I would say the best, but keep going.
And if they were in 7AA, I would have drove up this year for the section semis.
Yeah, I will say they are the best team in the state. They'd beat Eden Prairie in a game today. No question about it.
Well, I think they can roll 3 lines like Eden Prairie can.
Yeah.
They got better defense than Eden Prairie does.
Don't we want to see that game? We want to see that game.
I would say we want to see that game.
I want to see that game. It's never going to happen, but I want to see that game.
They've scheduled each other before in the past.
That's fine, but they're not scheduled this year, and they're not going to play in section or state tournament. So
just imagine a 4-5 matchup in the tournament: St. Thomas Academy versus Hermantown night game.
Ooh,
juicy!
Boy, it's like those Rice Krispie bars between periods at the press deck.
And Melrose juicy.
He ate like 6 of them. I swear. All right, next.
Any other takeaways on Hermantown before we?
I have already
on?
said they're the best team in the state. I can't go any further.
My takeaway is Breck's still going to win Class A, and I'm not changing from that. But
That's fine. You can have your Breck and all that.
Hermantown looked good.
Hermantown's the best team in the state. They should be in AA.
Yeah.
And anybody who says they're not is lying. Their squirts won. They have a great squirt team. They won our tournament, which is basically the state tournament. Their peewees are in the top 10. There's no reason they play at the highest level as youth. There's no reason they shouldn't be in AA. If it's not after this year, then I'm calling Coach Plant on it. If it doesn't happen after this, you'd realize this year they couldn't. There was a 2-year thing. He couldn't become after they won it last year. I was like, they got to go AA. I'm like, they can't. It's moot point. They can't go after this year. They're going to have to go to AA, or I think the rest of the state is just going to turn their back on them. Do you agree with that?
No, well, you're not going to get any argument from an East and a St. Thomas Academy grad on this.
I agree.
It's frustrating because I think we would very much enjoy to watch them in the big tournament.
Correct. Yeah. And the interesting thing is because their 8th and 9th grade classes are down by Hermantown standards, so they're going to go to AA if they do, and they're going to get smoked, and then all the Hermantown people are going to go, look, they're going to say cry foul, but I'm going to say, hey, look, your 5th through 8, your 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th graders are amazing. You got plenty in the pipeline.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I say pipeline, there are lots of former Bulldogs, lots of former players. When they moved to Duluth, they moved to Hermantown because they love the way that they develop players there.
Yeah.
It's a hotbed for it. It's like kind of like Edina. When people just move there because it's great hockey.
Well, Suter and who's the other NHLer that Suter and Stahl's kids are playing on the same score team in Edina.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Or my
that.
team.
Probably Mites.
My team. Somebody wrote an article. I don't know if it was Russo's article.
They're not in squirts yet. I would have seen them this weekend. Trust me. That's my zone. All right, next up. Saturday.
Night game Saturday. Edina 1, Hill-Murray 2 at Braemar. This is a Hill team that just keeps finding a way.
Yep.
And, I mean, they don't have that much as far as, skill, but their players that they have aren't terrible skill players.
No, and they buy into the system.
And Bagley is playing out of his gourd right now.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah,
he's amazing.
So what my takeaway on Brinkman gets into an altercation right after the game's over. Scuffle breaks out. Brinkman's hot, wants to go off the ice before handshakes, and Giles kind of pulls him back, and then Twiggy has to come over and talk him down, and he's in the back of the line just mad because they lost the game. And Brinkman kind of can take some cheap penalties from time to time.
Well, he's a very aggressive player.
Hot.
And I will say this about him. He is their captain. So it's one thing to be the hothead guy, but it's the other thing to be the hothead guy and the captain.
That's also my takeaway is the captaincy has to mean something. And if you're going to be that guy, you're not a captain.
All right. Well, I will say this. Everyone says he's a family member, apparently, of mine. But I will say this. Ben's the kid that's the first to the rink, last to leave. He's the guy that's picking the pucks up and feeding the guy, the team manager, the pucks. I mean, he is one of those kids that's an all-American kid.
Yeah.
And something had to have happened. Again, I sound like his dad for crying out loud. God forbid you call me Mark Brinkman. But I sound like it, but I'm sure something really bad had to have happened for him to go crazy.
He's kind of like, this is going to be a bad comparison at first, but Ndamukong Suh is kind of like that. He's a great player. He might have a dirty play, but he's a great player. Yeah. And he's a great guy.
Said by a Nebraska alum.
Okay, so you have to
salt of grain added.
I was at Nebraska when Sue was there, but but it's that type of thing, and so Dylan Sandberg takes penalties too and takes a couple cheap shots, when necessary. So like the great players that we're seeing right now on the ice are also, doing that type of thing. So it's not just I'm picking on Brinkman for
right.
this.
Are we on to Hockey Day?
We're on to Hockey Day.
Awesome.
Hooray. So I was here. Thank you to Bo McGraw for letting Eric Zimmer and I into this.
Yep.
Big shout out to him. So I
was the president of Stillwater Hockey Youth Association.
Yep. So big shout out to him. First game was Matamidi 3, TRF, Thief River Falls 0. As expected. The only thing that I didn't expect were those ugly Jays that Matamidi brought out.
Red, white, and blue.
What were they wearing?
Dude, are they trying to poach St. Paul Capital kids to come over to Matamidi?
I have no idea.
No idea what was going on here.
Carl, talk about their uniforms, because that's what made me turn the TV on in the office at the Sportacular. I read Carl's tweet and it said they have the wrong colors, and I was like, "What is he talking about?"
No. They didn't even try to make it the Matamidi colors. They're just like, we're going to be Washington Capitals. Okay. What are you doing?
And they kept their same breezers and socks. That's the best part.
Yeah. The awkward clash. I don't know what they're doing.
We love you, Matamidi, but you get a low grade for your uniforms.
And my takeaways on Matamidi, too, is they have above average players, above average size, and this is going to be a hard knock if you're St. Paul Academy in the tournament.
Hard to get, hard to get past.
Yeah, a hard knock.
I said that
off.
last week. I really do. It's going to be a tough game for SPA.
And then let's dive into the big game. Eden Prairie 4, Stillwater 2, Stillwater 1, Casey Middlestead 2.
Yes. You almost missed that last empty netter.
Yes.
It was like, oh, you almost missed.
But Casey definitely played well in this game. I thought Eden Prairie played solid the whole game, but Stillwater also came out and had a pretty good game. Stanton, I thought, had a good game in this one.
Yeah, he's slowly but surely becoming one of their scoring forces.
Yeah.
Carl?
Yeah, it's a pretty entertaining game. It's one of the best outdoor games I think I've watched. It was, obviously both teams were playing at a high level. The ice wasn't too big of a factor, and it was just a fun game to watch. And Eden Prairie, again, used that depth, I think, to slowly wear down Stillwater. So I think the third line was really where you started to see the mismatch for this one.
Yeah, well, I always thought that was one of the strengths of Stillwater's. Bartosh and that line is really good. It didn't seem like it really mattered at all. What line was out there? Eden Prairie seemed to have the upper hand for most of that game.
Yeah, I'll agree on that.
Let's talk a little bit about more of the fun side of Hockey Day. Let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff you saw. So I'll set you up here, Danny.
Sounds fun.
We're talking about Lee Smith. You said Lee was wearing jeans. You've never seen Lee wearing jeans on television. Carl and I, where we watched it on TV, didn't see the jeans. Tell us some more of the stuff that happened.
So Lee wearing jeans was definitely a highlight. I don't even think Lee was, when we saw Lee over the summer, I don't think he was wearing jeans. He wasn't even wearing shorts. I mean, Lee always wears a white shirt tie.
Yep.
White shirt tie.
Yeah. Very professionally dressed head coach.
And then Domo and all the assistant coaches were wearing those weird hats.
Yeah, I saw that.
Domo was loving that. That was pretty funny.
Yep.
And then let's see. Other takeaways. I took a picture for YHH Twitter handle with Nikki Lieberman and Jared Blakoya talking to some squirt kids from Stillwater. This was really cool.
I like that one.
Because it's just, that's what Hockey Day is all about. The fact that the squirts can go over and talk to a D1 commit. That's cool. And they don't treat him like, hey, get away.
No, they're into it.
Yeah.
And Nikki's the perfect guy for that. I mean, he's one of those guys that's always willing to talk to kids and be involved in the whole big picture.
I will say this Hockey Day was warmer than Duluth.
Oh, yeah.
I was, let's just say, complaining all last year, right, Carl?
Just a little bit, just only once every 10 seconds or so. Carl is cold.
That's only 6 times a minute, though, so that's not that bad.
That's not that bad. I consider that, relaxed for me. And so, that was nice, and the rain stayed away. The takeaways that I had, it still was not, for me, I hold the St. Thomas Hill one at that airfield better because they had that big, huge tent that you could go into, which was really cool because you didn't feel like you were crowded in the tent and you could warm up between periods. And then the stands were high enough that you could see over the glass and actually get a good view of it.
That is cool.
Yeah, that was nice because I
need a big space.
You need a big space for it, and this still felt cramped. I took a couple cool panoramic pictures on my phone, and that was that was cool. But still, you need to have the visibility to see the game
above the boards.
Above the boards, because glass distortion in an outdoor game is really bad.
Yeah.
And so, but I thought the setting was great. It was most similar to Duluth.
Yeah, very similar to Duluth.
Very similar.
From what I saw, it looked like it was a lot like Duluth.
But I think they got to go back to the St. Thomas Hill game, the St. Paul game, and go back to that model. And don't look at Duluth as the model, just because I liked personally I like that better, and the people who I was talking to at the game like that aspect of going into a big tent more as
warming
well.
up and that kind of thing. Yeah,
because
like
when the stands are so big, even if they're not filled all the way, you're not worried about if I get up and leave, where's my seat going to go? Somebody's going to take that,
Correct.
Okay, so those were my takeaways.
What about the uniforms? Let's talk about those really good. We've already trashed Matamidi for theirs. Did Thief have?
Thief kind of went their normal standard.
Yellow. I saw the yellows. Did they have anything special about it?
No, I think that was their normal standard. I think it would have been cool if either Matamidi or Thief went in an all yellow jersey.
Right.
That would have been cool. Yeah.
All right, so and I thought that Eden Prairies were somewhat average. I wasn't blown away
Jim
by
and I
them.
did a good job with those. They weren't like the best, and they weren't the worst. The worst.
So let's get to Stillwater. This is going to take some time. We might run out of disk space on this one. All right, so let's talk about Elk Rivers. Does everybody agree that without the horseshoes, it's an amazing uniform? Agree with that?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So we all saw the.
So far, yeah.
Go ahead, Carl. What are you going to say?
That's the thing. It was so close, but so far. The red was great. The color scheme was awesome, but then it had to go and stick all these little pulleys and horseshoes all over it.
Yeah,
Why?
I think there were horseshoes on the face masks. I mean, they were everywhere. We know you're Stillwater. Put it on your patch on your front. That's enough. I mean, they were on the socks. They were on the breezers. They were
Personally,
everywhere.
I don't like that logo.
And it's not the greatest logo.
I think you look at the good logos around the state, like the Edina Hornet, the Grand Rapids logo.
Classic.
Is good. That one's just, it doesn't do anything for me.
I agree. So had they just had no horseshoes or the horseshoe in the front or something, amazing. Let's get to the amazing part. The red helmets, red gloves, red breezer covers. Oh. It had the makings of amazing.
Or just tone down the ponies. Tone down that horseshoe. And just made one closer to the wrist.
Too busy.
It would have been cool.
Too busy, but I hope we get to see the red helmets, red gloves, red breeze. I hope we get to see that look.
They were breezer covers.
Yeah, I know, but my point is I'd like to see that look. I'd like to see them wear that again.
Yeah. It's better than their gray jerseys that they're currently wearing.
The white jersey with the gray sleeves, I'm not a big fan of.
It's just their current Jays are ugly.
2 out of 10.
Yeah.
2 out of 10. No, I don't like those either.
Okay, so that's our recap from this week. We're throwing out the paper.
Junk it. All right, are we on to my players?
Okay.
Awesome.
Mr.
Favorite. I love players. I love players.
So, let's prep this a little bit. Mr. Hockey is coming out soon, the Mr. Hockey candidates, the top 10 candidates. So only 10 kids can be it. Only one will be it, Casey Middlestead.
We already know who that is.
But we want to see who we're buying to be the other 9.
Right.
So we're going to go through a list of players and kind of go buy or sell on these lists of players. All are very good players and all are deserving in some way, shape, or form to be a Mr. Hockey candidate.
Right. So 20, I'm going to read these, and we're going to say yes or no.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
We'll say yes or no. We'll have to agree before we agree to them. So 22, I got 22 names, 21 names here. And then we'll see if we can come up with our 10 together, okay?
Yep.
So this is basically your eavesdropping in on who Danny, Tony, and Carl think will be the top 10 Mr. Hockey finalists.
And note, this is voted by scouts and coaches.
Yep.
And so what we did, we took the scouting midterm report that just came out, and we added some names to it as well.
So we went 5 through 187, these guys that got ranked midseason. So all those guys are in there. So the Nicky Liebermans,
The North American list, too.
Yep. Nicky Muellerman's, a guy like Noah Gansky made that list, so we have to talk about him.
Yep.
Those types of names. And then we took the other ones, kind of committed guys. We threw in Bauer Neudecker.
Yep.
We'll get down to this list. Are you ready? Okay, so Casey Middlestat is our only for sure.
No.
He's a lock. He's a lock.
Carl, I don't agree with that pick.
Okay, next. I'm just going to ignore you guys.
Look at that.
Okay. All right, so Casey Middlestad, he will be Mr. Hockey. It doesn't matter.
How many points he has, doesn't make a difference.
Doesn't matter. Okay, next, Dylan Sandberg, I would say as well.
Yes.
He's 43rd by NHL scouts.
For North American skaters. So Casey is number 5 by North American skaters, but that does not mean he will be the 5th pick off the board.
Correct. I think he will still be a top 10 pick.
Yes, I'm just saying that.
Okay, Robbie Stucker. This is where it gets interesting. He's 108th, which is the 3rd highest. Is he? I'm not sure.
I'm saying no.
I'm saying no, too.
He has a good point total.
I'm saying no, too.
He has 20-some-odd assists, and he'll add 30 by the end of the season. But for me, no.
I got a call on Robbie Stucker from an East Coast school, and I was very bullish. I'm like, this is a great hockey player. But I think that it's part of the team. The team, St. Thomas, hasn't wowed me.
Yeah.
Yet.
They're number 9.
I think they're good, but I haven't wowed me yet. I might come back to him.
Okay. Yeah.
Come back to him. Nicky Lieberman.
Highlight.
Yes, I agree too.
Yeah.
Nicky's committed to Notre Dame, and Stucker's uncommitted. So not that commitments mean anything.
No.
But Lieberman, when he's on the ice, makes a huge difference for Eden Prairie, as we saw in midseason.
Shift.
Yep.
Every shift. Okay, we got to come back. We will have to come back to a few of these in order to get our list 10. Matt Anderson.
Yeah, he's a 5th-year senior.
Yeah.
Literally. Going to Duluth. What is he, 128, right, Tony?
128, yeah.
Yeah, I think Matt's leading a good Holy Family team. He would be probably a good look if Casey wasn't, playing.
Yes. Noah Cates.
Yep.
Noah Cates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it gets interesting. 'Cause I like this. This is one of my favorites in the whole state. Micah Miller.
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Carl?
I'll say yes. I think he's had a good 1 year. I think he's when I've seen Rapids, he's been playing the strongest of the 3 forwards often. So I would say yes to Micah.
I would say yes to Micah too. Well, I have a star next to him. 'Cause if we got
he might be odd man out in my book.
I know, but when we get down to we have a 2 out of 3 here. So
yeah,
then
no,
we had
that's
0 out of 3.
Keep
for
going,
Stucker,
keep going.
Okay? Benton Moss.
No.
I would say no.
Going to New Hampshire?
No.
Say no. Jesse Bukestead.
No.
No.
Borderline, but probably no.
I think
right now we have 5.
I think the Stillwater pick is Cates. It's not Bukestead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cates, not Bukestead.
Yeah.
Correct. Bukestead, no.
Right.
Noah Gansky.
No.
No.
Not a chance.
No.
Not a chance. However, I go to a lot of Jefferson games.
What?
And every game, there's an NHL scout or a Division I scout. And several of these games, the opponent does not have an NHL-worthy or Division I-worthy player on the opposing team. They're coming to watch Noah. And Noah is close to 6'6", has amazing hands, has great jam in his game. I think this kid is a future star in for sure junior hockey and for sure at a Division I or WHL situation.
Here's my take against him: is Jefferson is historically bad right now.
Yes, at all-time bad. Yes,
all-time bad. And the problem with that is you're now looking at when was the last time we had a draftable player on a team that doesn't even have 5 wins yet? It might not have 5 wins by the end of the year.
Right.
And
can't happen.
It's very weird for me to say like that kid's a draft pick because normally a draft pick is a game-changing player. Gansey can be a game-changing player, but he's not right now.
Again, it's all potential.
It's all potential with him.
Yeah.
All potential. Absolutely. Okay, and you can't argue. I mean, you look at 6'6", and you're like, hey, good hands.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Take him. Okay, Bram Shear.
I say yes, actually.
No.
I'm a no too. So
No.
we still only have 5. Nick Perbix.
I would say Nick in the obligatory Elk River pick because Elks have a good season right now.
I would go yes.
Yeah, Carl, you're a yes. Yeah,
we all agree on that one.
Yeah, we're all on that one. Yep.
He was the lowest at 187 of the midtermers.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he's the worst. It's just that's the way that NHL.
And he's got good
scouts.
size. He's got great ability.
Absolutely.
Going to St. Cloud.
Okay, so Nick Perbix, that gets us to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 unanimous.
Yeah.
I know we're gonna get one out of these next two out of Danny.
Yeah.
So Keaton Pearson, you're gonna say yes,
Yes.
Danny.
Yeah.
You love him.
And he's going to Michigan Tech. I think I screwed that up
You
before.
did. Good correction. And then Carl, what do you think?
I'll say yes. I think he's worth it. Yeah.
I'm gonna say no for now. So that gets us to 2. So we have another 2 on that one. We're good. And then Ryan Sandelin, I'm gonna say yes.
I'd say yes.
They're the best team.
Yeah.
He's the best player on the best team in the state. That gets us 2 Hermantown
Yeah.
kids. So that gets us to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 3 more. We have 2 guys with 2 stars next to them, Micah Miller and Keaton Pearson. So that could get us to 9. And I have one that I'm going to lobby so hard for in the next few here. And that's it's not Ben Myers. Ben Myers.
Yeah, I would say
Delano.
Point
close.
totals. Point totals. You have to look at a little bit. He's not playing complete Little Sisters of Poor like a Northern Lakes, but he is getting some points there.
What do you think, Carl? If you could sway me one way or the other on this one, because I'm on the fence on Ben Myers.
I'm going yes. I think he's done enough both in high school and outside for playing for other teams.
I will go
should
in.
be there.
I will go in on Ben Myers, so that gets us to 8. All right, so we're gonna go through speed round on the last ones because we have 2. We have Micah Miller and Pearson,
and possibly
on there.
Stucker.
And then I'm gonna go hard and Stucker. I'm gonna go hard at Bauer Newdecker in a minute. Brian Hallinan, no. John Stampahar.
Only if Micah Miller, I would pick Miller before Stampahar.
All right, so now we get to Bauer Newdecker. Yeah. Bauer Newdecker is the leading goal scorer in the state.
Who's he for?
He plays for St. Louis Park. He's not committed. He's undersized. He is an amazing hockey player. And if the committee doesn't take this kid, they're sending a really bad message to kids that from St. Louis Park and Spring Lake Park and smaller teams, smaller high school programs that stay home and play for their deal instead of going to a private school like Benilde or Totino Grace or these others to get noticed. I say you gotta kid a kid like Bauer Newdecker in your top 10.
Are you off your soapbox yet?
I'm still on it. You can't knock me off it, but keep going.
Where did Cesar play, Carl?
What?
Where did that Cesar kid play that racked up points? You don't even know who I'm talking about.
No,
yeah,
no idea.
Moose Lake. Moose Lake putting up the same amount of points. You never heard of him.
Moose Lake does not play Wayzata. Okay?
Okay.
St. Louis Park plays Wayzata. They played Edina. They've played a decent schedule. By St. Louis Park terms, they're playing a much tougher schedule than Moose Lake could ever imagine. So let's not compare a kid from Moose Lake and a kid who's played District 3 hockey his whole life, stayed home, he's played against Wayzata, Delano, Osseo Maple Grove. This kid is a legit hockey player and deserves his day in the sun as a top 10 Mr. Hockey finalist.
Undersized, you said it. It's voted by scouts. I'm leaving it at that.
You're saying no? How about you, Carl?
No.
I'm torn, and the honest truth is I've never seen him play, so I'm not sure I really have a right to judge. So,
Same,
I'd certainly entertain it, but I don't think he should just be handed it simply because he has a lot of points at a small school.
Okay, so you're saying no?
I could be convinced.
So you have to decide now.
Tony just gave you his best stump speak
ever. I felt like I was in the back of a train with my,
No, Teddy Roosevelt over here. Okay, so next one, we're going to say
Sam Huff.
Sam's a leader, but he's not. He's
not Bauer Newdecker.
He's not a Mr. Hockey candidate.
No. Henry Enneback.
No.
Henry's been a ghost.
Oh, wow. That's harsh. I will say no to Henry Enneback, but I think he's going to have a really strong finish.
Henry Enneback as a freshman? Yes. Henry Enneback as
that was
a
different team. That was a different team back then.
Yeah, well,
had a few line mates there who were pretty good.
I think if Paling was playing for Lakeville North this year,
he'd be a finalist.
He'd be a finalist. No, not only
Henry and Ryan would be a finalist. Yeah, I agree with
yeah, because of the points.
Yep.
Okay, next one.
Jax Murray. Is he going to be our Casey Stom?
That's a hard one because he blew up the Elite League.
Yeah,
and that's what scouts. A lot of scouts were at.
Casey or Jax?
Both.
Yeah. So I'm going to say no. Just based on principle, I didn't think Casey Stom deserved to be in.
And he's uncommitted.
Yep. All right, and then we're going to throw a couple out there that I know are going to get shot down, but deserve some recognition. Luke Manning's a kid from Stillwater. Matthew Stanton's a kid from Stillwater that deserves some
great kids,
right? And then you wanted to have Josh S.
Going to Wisconsin, and he's part of a good decor for Lakeville South.
Yeah, I agree. However, we'll get into it later off air. I just don't think a team that's outside the top 10 and hasn't really had any big wins yet this year doesn't deserve it.
Okay, Newdecker talk.
Bauer Newdecker plays for St. Louis Park.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
All right. So now we're down. We have 8. We have to pick between Micah Miller, Keaton Pearson, or Bauer Newdecker.
Or Stucker.
Or Stucker.
I'm going to go.
Who said no to Stucker?
I did. I would say.
I did too.
Okay, then I would say
Mike said no, so he gets 0 votes.
Okay, Micah Miller and Keaton Pearson are my 2 that you're missing.
Okay, how about you, Carl? Bauer Newdecker, Keaton Pearson, or Micah Miller?
Or Bram.
Miller, Miller for sure, and I'll make Tony happy. I'll take Newdecker.
Yes! Woo! Day made. Yes. Yeah. Bauer Newdecker makes our top 10.
I don't see how Pearson misses that list, though.
Oh, well, we'll see. We'll see. Here are our 10 consensus.
Oh, wow.
Consensus Mr. Hockey finalists: Casey Middlestad, Dylan Sandberg, Nikki Lieberman, Matt Anderson, Noah Cates, Micah Miller, Nick Perbix, Bauer Newdecker, Ben Myers, and Ryan Sandelin.
It's a good list.
It's a good list of hockey players.
Okay, well, let's go a little bit faster.
Yeah, we got to fast forward. We're way beyond. But we had some fun here.
Okay, so let's talk about games that are
speed round through those games so we can get to pick them. Okay?
Yep. That's fine. Tuesday, big 8AA matchup in Moorhead. Roseau comes down to play them. This is big for both teams, especially for Section City. Moorhead needs this win, so they actually have something to stand on.
Desperate for this win.
I mean, Moorhead should win, but they need it to actually have something to talk about in section meetings.
They don't have a meeting. It's a conference call. So.
Okay, fine. Welcome to AT&T's teleconference service.
Yeah.
So
#6 for mute.
Please enter your access code, followed by the pound key. Sorry. Now, next game that I'm looking at Thursday, Breck versus SPA at SPA. This is a pretty good matchup.
Great matchup.
I think SPA keeps this one closer than they did last time, but Breck pulls away with it again.
Yep.
And then Thursday as well, St. Cloud Cathedral visits Delano. I might be going to this one just because I want to see Cathedral play. And then Friday, Grand Rapids Greenway at Rapids. Tony didn't want to talk about this.
I love the game. I just don't think that it's worthy on our show because I think it's a 5-goal game.
But it's going to be a packed house at IRA.
It's going to be amazing. I mean, if anybody doesn't know the proximity of Greenway and Grand Rapids,
it's like 8 miles.
No, it's smaller than that.
Really?
And there are kids who live in Grand Rapids who go to Greenway. There's people who live in Colorado who go to Grand Rapids. I mean, these are neighbors that are playing each other.
Yeah, I'm debating
this
going.
Is Kennedy, there. Jefferson, Washburn, Southwest. Armstrong, Cooper. This is These are rivalries that are basically.
So if you're up north and want to go to a game,
this is the one you want to go see.
Get here at 5.
Just from a rivalry perspective.
Yeah. Okay, Tony, let's go pick 'em.
We got pick'ems?
We got pick'ems.
All right, thank you for the speed round.
I tried.
We're running out of time here. There's some really good games. 5, according to Carl, and 6, according to Carl. Centennial and Edina. Just for the record, somebody got 4 out of 4 last week, and he lives in the 2-1-8. Congratulations, Carl. You went 4 for 4 for the first time in your life. I mean, in the first time this year.
You go first.
You get to go first. Centennial and Edina, you've been very bullish on Centennial. I'm guessing that's where you're going.
Yeah, I'll stick with that train. Go Cougars. Ooh.
Can anybody make a case for Edina at
will.
Braemar?
I will. I think, like I said before, Edina outskates teams that aren't as good at skating. I think this is a case that happens. I think Edina skates over them. I think it's going to be a 5-2 game.
Whenever I pick against Edina, they lose. They win. Whenever. I think
Please
it's like
pick
in the
Centennial,
99th percentile. It's crazy.
Pick
This weekend I picked against their Pee Wee AA team. Boom! They win the big Roseau tournament up north. I got text message after text message. That's what you get for picking against Edina. So I will not pick against Edina here. So I will pick the Hornets at home. And Danny, you too?
Yeah. I'll be
Carl
at this
might be
one.
laughing to the bank on this one. But that's going to be a great game. That's probably
That's
one of the
gonna be a
best
fun
games of the
one.
week, I
Yeah.
think. Another great game. Two teams kind of going in opposite directions in the rankings world. Elk River and Hill Murray at Aldrich. This is a toss-up game.
I
I know where I'm going.
Okay, where are you going?
I'm going to go Hill Murray. Carl went first, so you get to go next.
I'm going to go Hill Murray too. I think Jake Bagley is going to be the difference maker in this one, but this is going to be a good game.
We're going to gooch him. I feel Goocher coming up.
Yeah.
Carl, what do you think?
Oh, I guess it'll be the odd one out again. I might as well go for the Elks just for the hell of it.
I think Carl's going to go back to 0-4 like he was the previous week.
I like that.
Do you like
fun.
that pick? Or do you like when he goes 0-4?
Both.
I think so too. All right, so normally we don't go too heavy on Lake Conference because
It's
it
the
just
Lake
gets
Conference.
it gets humdrum after a while.
It's boring.
So boring.
But I think we picked this game, Tonka and Edina, simply because there are two different teams going different directions. Tonka's going up, Edina's going back. There's kind of a lot on the line, not necessarily for section seeding, but from a state rankings perspective.
In a pride standpoint in the
Yeah,
Lake
oh,
Conference.
yeah.
I mean, the
absolutely.
Lake Conference does take a lot of pride with who wins it.
Yes.
Am I going first on this one?
I believe we're back to Carl.
No, I haven't gone
Oh, yeah,
first.
you'll go first.
So
you go first.
I'll actually go Minnetonka on this one. I think Minnetonka has more to prove, and I think this is going to be a good week for them.
You know my rule about Edina.
Yeah.
I never choose against Edina. Here we go. Edina.
Okay, Carl, who do you got?
I'll take Edina.
Oh, man. We're going to have some odd results next
Yes.
week. All right, we're sticking with Minnetonka. And now this is another great game, and this one has huge.
This one has way more implications.
Huge section implications to it. Tonka and Holy Family. Both teams are red hot.
Yep.
Both teams have a lot to play for. I think hopefully there's going to be a great crowd on hand. Is this at Pagel?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It's going to be a great game. Bring your mittens and gloves because the place is freezing cold. No, who's first here? We're back to Carl. Carl, you get to go first. I know your answer already. Can I answer it for you?
Sure, do it.
You're going to take Minnetonka.
Yeah, the best team in the stage, at least when they play Blue Bees. So.
Okay, so you just took Minnetonka, who is rated 14th, against Holy Family, who you have as 7th. How does that work?
It's Carl's
Well,
magic.
sometimes. And I do my sort of insider trading, too. We've established this. Yeah.
That's true. Okay, so that makes me second on this one. I have no idea. I really have no idea. I got a feeling I'm going to go with Holy Family on this one.
I'm going to go Pagel.
You're going to go Pagel?
Yeah, I think Pagel's going to play a factor. I think Tonka plays better at home in front of that crowd, and it's not an easy place to play.
No, it's not. I think it's a toss-up. It's going to be a great game. This could be a preview
Of the
if
2-3.
EP wins the Lake Conference and beats Tonka twice. There's no question they'll be the number one seed in the section. So this could be a preview of that big / Braemar game.
Yeah.
That really would be good. Some great hockey this week coming up. Some really not the best week of the year, but it's not like Holiday Classic like. But
Yes.
it's going to be some good hockey, no doubt about it. Carl, any final thoughts from the north side?
Nothing too exciting up here, so no. Let's wrap this up.
All right. And Danny, any final thoughts out of you?
I'm going to be going to a lot of games. I'm going to go over to Anoka Rogers on Monday. So
Nice.
I'll be at a lot of games this week. I'll be at a game Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, possibly too.
I may go into hibernation after running 136 game squirt tournaments, but I hope to be back at the rink near you soon. I think I'm broadcast. I gotta check my schedule. I think I'm broadcasting the Wayzata Eden Prairie game Saturday night over at Eden Prairie. So that means one game I'll be at, but I'll probably be at a couple more. Not quite sure yet. I'd still just be glad to be done with my tournament. I really appreciate you guys working around my schedule, Danny and Carl, this week. I hope everybody enjoyed today's show. A huge shout out to Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine for their sponsorship on the show. For Carl and Danny, I'm Tony Scott. Have a good night.
Last night my kid tore up his league. He had a hat trick right up his sleeve. Coach said he's never seen that. Gemini Athletics gonna have to stitch the C-patch. I've got Ferraris, Maseratis, drive all over the place. I drink martinis, never seen these looks all over their face.